Greetings everyone, it's Ingrid from thinkingthis.com, and today I will be flipping through my 2022 and 2023 aesthetically decorated bullet journals. Why am I doing this? Because I finally have made the time to put post-its on the things I want to keep private, and also because I'm actually changing my planning system. This was a great system for me, and we'll get into why it was great, and we'll also get into why I'm gonna have to adjust for the next couple of years and focus more on function and less on aesthetic. So this is my very first hardbound bullet journal, and I did a setup video for this. And at the time I did the setup video for this, I thought, yeah, I could do quarterly plan with me's. Every time I get into a new bullet journal, I'll just, record the setup quarterly, because I already knew that I couldn't handle monthly. I knew it was going to have to be quarterly, and so, that's what we got. So this is my very first hardbound bullet journal, and here we are flipping through. Be sure to check out the video if you want to see how I set things up. This is the index. I really do use the index. In fact, indexing is the reason I got into bullet journaling, because I had always journaled, but I wasn't, creating an index. So whenever I needed to find a piece of information, I was reading through a lot of journals to try and locate it. And so this, using an index and threading, that was what drew me to this. Here is the future log. Here's the future log for the following year. Since this is the first quarter of 2022, there's not too much written here, only things that came up during that first quarter, reminders that would come up for the first quarter of 2023. This is really one of my favorite setups too. I love this check washi tape. I love the gold accents. This is a cartomancy spread. At the beginning of each year, I give myself a tarot reading, and I pull one card for each month. I make my little spread, write things down, and then I would come back and fill something in post-month reflection. So there was, the task that the card is indicating, the opportunity that the card is indicating, or the chance, and then there would be a reflection. But since I'm not in this book, April, May, and June, I didn't write one here. I only wrote it here and covered it with Post-it. These pages, I don't remember what they were intended for. It looks like goal setting, and I never used it. So there's one piece of function that I didn't get to put the time in. It's another spread that was intended to be something and ended up not being anything. Okay, so here we have the lunar calendar. I love this. I love that it's telling me a different interpretation for each phase. If you're not aware, I love planning in accordance with the lunar phases, and I've got some content on my blog and mostly on Instagram, content on my blog and Instagram about how I do that. And if you'd like something more granular for me, a video of something more granular for me to get into on how I do moon phase or lunar phase planning or moon mapping, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. and I'll try to make that happen. So this is January, your basic monthly calendar. I put the card of the month from the earlier cartomancy there, and then I also would write an affirmation. And the affirmation for this one is one that I really love and I've been saying recently, and it is, if it is good for me, I see it and I love it. And that was by Dee Wallace. Okay, so this is my habits page. I've got the dates from 1 through 31 here, day of the week right underneath. And the way I track my habits is that each day gets a color out of 9 colors, right? So we have like a magenta, a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, a light blue, a dark blue, and a purple. And so what ends up happening is every 1st, 9th, and 25th of each month is shaded magenta. So basically, if I do these habits every single day, you end up with a rainbow. And I cannot express just how satisfying the rainbow is. It's really satisfying. And you see at the beginning, it's, you know, pretty sparse. Some of the habits barely got tracked, you know. I was only really consistent with reading, and even that was kind of spotty. But as the months went on, completing that rainbow and keeping the chain of the rainbow going really helped me, especially when it came to personal habits. Like, well, let's not get into that. But especially when it comes to personal care habits. So then this is my dreams, visions, silence spread. And this is my spirit spread. So basically, there's variations of this throughout all my books. And because these are not that interesting to look at, we're just going to skip it. And when I get to a spread that looks nicer, we'll talk about it more. So this is my scribe spread or page. On this side, I was tracking what I wrote. Like if I wrote a journal entry, if I wrote a blog post, if I did goal setting, because see here I have power sheets. I used the power sheets in 2022. So anyway, if I wrote something, I would log it for that specific day. And then reading, same thing. I would log what book I read or what I was reading for that specific day. In January 2022, I was deep in the Wheel of Time series. So I read The Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn in January. This is a gratitude page. This is my contact page. Like there's like people that I should be communicating with, you know, like my mother. And I need to keep track of when I last spoke to them because sometimes I forget. I go a little time blind. These are my kid trackers. Anything having to do with a specific child gets marked here. It's mostly like, you know, when did they shower? When did they read? When did this happen? For each month. And this stencil is by Erin Floto Designs. I loved it. I used it every month. Okay, so this is my health tracker. This is kind of where I get intense about me. So, you know, we've got cycle. I track when I get allergies. I track the use of progesterone cream. I tracked, you know, brushing, flossing, hair washing, nails, everything related to me personally. And then here I was tracking sleep, which was the purple, and then I was tracking energy and stress. And this was like on a scale of 1 through 10 for the energy and stress. The stress was red, the energy was green. I kind of fell off on that because if I didn't remember to come back and gauge the stress level or the energy level, like I didn't have enough data points. So I kind of fell off on that, but I do still do this with the sleep. This is for me to take my basal temperature. I only did it 3 times, and I've fallen off a lot on that. Later I'll show you how I combine the spreads so that you can see how I work with that now. And here are the weeklies. I'm just gonna quickly flip through them. This is where the majority of the action happens on a day-to-day basis. This journal entries. I'll generally just do a highlight and put the date and make like a little to-do list. This is the desk cleanup dump. So I was cleaning off my desk, and any to-do that I found on there would get put into one of these columns. We have financial, office project, homeschooling, and errands. So what I love about my weeklies, I kind of do the rolling weekly like Plant-Based Bride has described. If you want to check out her channel, she's here on YouTube. And so what ends up happening is you have the Alistair method here on this page where you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you've got your date, and then here's where you have all the tasks, and then here you mark when you want to do it with an open circle or whether you did it with a filled in circle. And what was cool about this is you can begin the week like this with the pages folded over. You got your goals, you got your master to do for the week. And then Monday comes and you only need to look at Monday and then, you know, go back. And so the same thing with Tuesday. Flip it, you only look at Tuesday. Now Wednesday's a little bit more like this. You know, Wednesday and Thursday are more like this. Friday's like this. Saturday and Sunday like that. So I loved this. I love it. It does use up a lot of paper because a lot of times this column, if I don't have time to fill it out, nothing's happening here. So yeah, those are the weeklies. And I would keep track of purchases. There's a page of purchases and I'll put the month there, what I want to buy. When it's purchased, I'll fill in the circle, and when it arrives, that's when I mark it with an X and then draw a line. So like I was waiting for the package, it came, then I put the X and draw the line. So yeah, that's pretty much how they always are. They're always set up like this. I just got more organized in terms of what needs to get written where, because I did end up having a monthly. It looked great, but I wasn't really putting anything in there. Most of the action was happening in the weeklies, and there was not enough space for the weeklies. Oh, these stickers are by Planning with Kay. And this washi tape is Archer and Olive, but the stickers are Planning with Kay. I think it was called Newsy or something like that. Okay, and then here's a review. This review is based on Matt Ragland's system called RAP. You have wins, results, aspirations, and pivots. It's pretty useful to me for a weekly review, especially because, I mean, this was done as a monthly, but a weekly review is good for this too. All right, and this theme was notebook therapy stamps, moonlight something. So February notebook therapy. And so here's that rainbow. Here's those habits again. It's looking more filled in, you know? The rainbow is starting to motivate. It's starting to motivate. Again, dreams, vision, silence. This is my devotional record. In it, the January one did not allow me to provide levels of details, like what kind of offerings did I offer and stuff like that. So we moved on to this kind of layout. And again, we have reading on this side, scribe on this side, gratitude, contact page once again, and the kid trackers. And again with the health tracker. Temperatures are here, but I never even drew the line. And then back to sleep, stress, and energy. Okay, and then I started logging certain things on a specific day that it wouldn't fit into these categories here. Oh, and I don't know if you saw this, but I was putting each little moon phase in here. I loved doing this, but it ended up being time consuming and not very functional. So I kind of fell off on that. I can't remember exactly when, but I just stopped doing it. So again, we've got our weeklies, right? Goals, Monday, Tuesday, all that. One thing I like to do at my weeklies is I like to put the moon phase and what sign it's in, and if there's any void of course information. So that's part of what I like to do in my weeklies. I also would put appointments down here and the dinner plan right in this yellow area. And as you can see, none of the yellow areas have a dinner right in there, which means I did not do any meal planning. Here we go again with the health tracker. Okay, we're going into the March weeklies here. This was like a starry space theme. I got this cool stencil because I love this whole marking the time out each day, like really getting detailed with it, but it takes so long to like trace it that I ended up not using it very often. Okay. Sometimes if I wrote it on a scrap piece of paper because I didn't have a notebook, I'll just stick it right in. And I want to show off my Shada Campbell tutorial attempt. That's another bullet journaler, and she's very good with the florals, and I followed her technique to make that. Here's that health tracker again. This is a great, this has been really great for me. I don't always get the time to do the reviews, but they really are important. especially if you're a time blind kind of person. You'll like forget, hey, I was supposed to work on that 2 months ago. But if you're doing your reviews, you'll see it. You'll see what you intended to do, and you'll see whether you actually did it. And then that will help you adjust for the future. Okay, here we're nearing the end of the book, and this is where I made a mind map of administrative tasks. So any of the to-dos that I had back here, I like created a little mind map for myself so that I can come back and go, what is it that I had pending? All right, and that's it. We had a few extra pages. That's what's good about the 192 page books. Those are the ones that work for me the best. If it has less pages, it tends to need me to tip stuff in. Okay, so then this is the book for quarter 2. We're just gonna go right into it. This was a subscription box. I loved this subscription box. And so I believe all these little papers came with it, so I went all circles and stuff. This is like my washi tape graveyard. Any scrap washi I would end up like just sticking right there. Okay, here we have this grid spacing. You know, I like it because I like to see where everything is, but I do end up counting a lot of the time anyway. But this is especially useful. This key, various keys of how I fill things in, because I would have to come back and be like, how is it that I write down whether I hydroflossed versus whether I flossed regularly with the string. Okay, index again, collections, year at a glance, and the future log. So I just copied the cartomancy from the previous book. I redrew it and stuck it here. Here we're back with the lunar calendar. I can't remember the name of the person who makes these. I believe it's an Etsy shop, and I'm going to remember to link it in the descriptions. Okay, and so this is my power sheets key. I like took all these life categories and gave them a specific color using mild liners. So, all right, here's our monthly calendar for April, and see, look at the improvement. Look at what's happening. Look at how the colors are motivating. Again, the kid trackers. This is my cat tracker. My cat's name is Momo, and so I would keep track of whether he got treats, whether his breakfast or dinner was wet or dry, if we combed his hair, if he puked, if there was a hairball, or if he had goop in his eyes. And then any behaviors or like other things to track, like when I last changed the filter to his water feeder and that type of stuff. Here we go again. Here I'm tracking time based on the colors from the power sheets. So, you know, these orange times were homeschooling, but I think I was only really consistent with sleep. It's hard to go back in during the day for everything. Okay, and here's my reinforcers page. I need a reinforcers page, something to remind me what how I can treat myself if I do all my work. And so having a list helps, because sometimes you end up, if you're gonna treat yourself because you did a good job, you end up going on a whim. You end up going based on what was on the internet. You know, who made it to your inbox first. But if you go back and look at your list of reinforcers, you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that. And so then that'll just remind you not to spend mindlessly, even if it is a treat for yourself. This I glued in. It is from El Rohir Leather. They have beautiful, beautiful notebook covers made of leather. And I bought one for my homeschooling Hobonichi. And so I just decided to put the care instructions right in there. And it was pretty and decorative. So I was like, hey, that looks nice. We'll just stick it right in. And here we are, May. I kind of have a little tradition where I like to use butterflies in May. And these, I forgot what these tabs are called, but I tried a different tab system. And here's a wonderful quote. I am the powerful God of me who knows and takes action. I create now. That's a big one for me. I tend to procrastinate a lot. So taking action is important. And here I did a lot. I did a much nicer job with the time tracking here. Time tracking is good for me because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I did all day, especially when the major projects don't move. So here's that stencil again. I'm trying to create an ideal day using it. This was like weekday and this was meant to be weekend, I think. But again, it takes so long to trace all this stuff that I just never filled it in the end. Okay, and once again, this time I put the little dinner stamp there. Oh, and this butterfly set, these washi tapes are from Notebook Therapy as well. The stamps, I believe I purchased the stamps at Hobby Lobby, but all the butterfly washi and stickers is from Notebook Therapy. And here's where I discovered the dot markers. I don't know if you noticed, but in the previous tracking, it's all square, 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 square. Soon we will have the dots, because I loved the dot. Just put a dot, like a square takes longer to fill in. So then I started color coding the tasks based on the categories using the dots. And there we go again. I'm trying to use this thing, but like I told you, I had to drop it. It was messing me up, having to do all that before I could actually fill it in. So it's like a navy pink maroon theme. Okay, so then we find this stamp. I got this stamp on Etsy, But it's the same idea as that other stencil, except it's a stamp. So boom, you stick it on and it'll be much easier to make things happen. So then I started doing that. I started like just stick one in there and decide, you know, what's gonna happen at what time and color code it. This was a gift. Well, these came with a gift, a birthday gift someone gave me from Madame Pamita. And so this card came with it. And I just decided to stick it in. Here's the note that they sent. And a little bit of memory keeping there. So here's June. And these washi tapes are also notebook therapy. This is the Enchanted Garden, I believe. Enchanted Garden set. And so here are the tabs again. These tabs are a little different this time. I got the stamps and the washi tapes, so you're gonna see that the stamps are utilized throughout these pages as well. And so here I was like, let's stick one in every day and try to, you know, decide each day. Sometimes I had time to fill it out and sometimes I didn't. All right, we're here at the end, and this is a big, massive brain dump. Probably a lot of all the migrated tasks ended up over here on this last page. And the pages in this journal were perforated, and a couple of times while making my health tracker, I would rip out the perforated page and then like tip it in attached to another page. But I found that there were not enough pages to be doing that, so I ended up having to tip in a few. Yeah, I had to tip in here too, because I knew I was going to run out of pages before the end of the quarter. And so that is quarter 2. And then we have quarter 3. This also came in a subscription box. I loved this because it came with pink edge paper. I thought that was so cool. 192 pages again. That's the ideal size for me. And here, I love this. This is just, I love it. Okay, so quarter 3, 2022. Once again, this time I put the color coding for my goals and stuff. And then that's really when this page became functional for me. I was constantly coming back here to remember what color was what. All right, I decided to do my year at a glance and future log with different colored paper. These are from the Archer and Olive notepads, and the subscription box is Archer and Olive as well. Okay. This is from Planning with Kay. My daughter and I love Planning with Kay's digital stickers. So we're constantly checking her previous downloads to see what if anything, we can use. And so see here, this is from the first book, quarter one's book. But because it was tipped in with washi tape in quarter one, I just ripped it out and stuck it in here. And so then that was the system's like, hey, you don't have to keep redrawing everything if you make the pages that will go to the other book on a separate piece of paper and then tip it in with washi tape. So that's what I started doing then. Time saving. These stickers are Printpressions. Printpressions has a lot of like really cool sales. Well, they'll give you like a whole stack of calendar planning stickers that you can use in various colors. So if you don't really have a stash, they're a cool way to build your stash. Yeah, so you see the temperature is underutilized. Eventually, I give it up. I give it up, and it's like, hey, if we get our temperature, but the thing about basal temperature is you have to take it as soon as you wake up and not move. And usually my alarm is waking me up, and I don't want to wake up others because I like my alone time in the morning. So I tend not to take my temperature because I want to go turn off that alarm really fast. And in doing so, you've started moving, which is going to affect the temperature reading. I'm super proud of these. I love these waves. I love them. I made the waves with the Notebook Therapy bullet journal stencils, like the plastic ones. Like each of them has a different kind of edge, and so I used this wave edge. And these orca and whale stickers are from Planning with Kay, and then the washi tape is Notebook Therapy's Suki Ocean something. I loved this theme so much that I did it again this year. Look how cool. Like you could just see him like beaching. You see him beaching. I just love it. So yeah. Alright, then I started using colored paper because I have a lot of Archer and Olive notepads with different colored paper. And I was like, I don't want to just keep using white all the time. I'm going to run out of the white notepad and I'll have all these colors sticking around. So I decided to go based on whatever theme. I'll grab the colored paper to make my third health tracker sheet. These stickers were Erin Floto stickers. And these are Carpe Diem. These number stickers are Carpe Diem. Okay, so this is August, and this is Planning with Kay's sunflower theme. Oh no, not August, this is September. And so again, I did use the edge of one of the Notebook Therapy bullet journal stencils to do another kind of, I guess this is waterfall. This is like a waterfall tab situation. So this flower leaf, this vine stamp is from the Enchanted Garden collection by Notebook Therapy. And these colors, this is a calliograph, and it most likely came with the spring subscription box. So as you can see, I made these a lot. I didn't use them. And then what ends up happening is I don't have enough space to write things in weeklies. So this is me planning the theme for October. So I'm here playing with the colors that I want to try and stuff. Later on in the journal, since I had so many pages left and we were about to hit the next quarter, and I had counted things out, and I already knew that the entire month of October was not going to fit in here, I decided to use the back as notebooks for whatever classes I had taken at that time. So this is Cosmic Weather. I took a workshop for Mesoamerican Oracle cards, made notes on that. And then I also watched a 7 chakra webinar. And so I made notes on that. And that's that. Quarter 3. Okay, and now quarter 4. So these are moon phases. I can't remember if this was a Notebook Therapy purchase. Yeah, I think it is. I think it was a Notebook Therapy. Well, check the charms. No, it's Archer and Olive. It's an Archer and Olive notebook. So basically 2022 notebooks were all Archer and Olive. And here we go. Quarter 4 of 2022. This time I just didn't even put the lunar phases, that other decorative page, and kept it to the chart, because that's what I was using. Like the other thing looked pretty, but it I wasn't using it functionally. Oh, look at this. This is like a little goals page. I finally made a goals page in here, and so each month in the quarter got a thing. Monthly calendar. Again with waterfall tab, but this time it's just a simple marker line. Okay, and I made my health tracker separately because it changes based on the first day of the cycle of my period. And if I'm finding that I know I'm in the end of the quarter, I know the notebook is going to switch over, I'll make the thing separately and then stick it in with washi tape and then pull it out when it's time to move into the new notebook. And so that's what I did here. I used yellows and I just stuck them in. So as you can see, yeah, things are starting to run out of space. And then I believe this is the last month that I even bother putting this in, because it just took up space, and sometimes I didn't even have time to fill it in. Sometimes I had to just start the list and write the stuff down. November. This is also inspired mostly by the Archer and Olive subscription box, the fall box. So they had this, you know, all these brown and orangey tapes. They had this nice blue, they had this sticker, and they sent a wooden stencil, which is what I used to do this. Oh, and I use acrylographs too for the coloring, for coloring everything. But I just love how all of this looks, all of these colors together, even the stencil shapes along the sides. So this is one thing that I notice, is that I love the tabs. I love the decorative tabs, but they are the most time-consuming part of the spreads, especially since I know what spreads I want. Sometimes I can't start decorating until I know what tabs I'm gonna have. And then this is where the aesthetics start interfering with the function. this page here, this is just me this is me power sheeting in the bullet journal, like writing down basically the prompts that the power sheets has in their goal planner. I was like, I don't want to keep going back and forth. Can I just write down these things directly in my bullet journal? Okay, here we have December. December was like moon silver space theme. So I was like, hey, my tabs are gonna be moons. And so that's what I did there. Here are the habits. Kid trackers. This is a meal log. I actually stopped doing this too. Just because I already got the data I needed. I already knew I wasn't eating enough and I was eating a lot of junk. And so once I tracked that for a few months, I already knew where the problems were. And see here, I'm starting to try to save space. I can't do my rolling weekly the same, right? So I'm squeezing in all the tasks in this small little area, which I didn't really like doing. And so that's that. Oh no, wait. And so that's that for 2022. We've got 3 books for 2023. Before I moved away from the whole bullet journal notebook type of setup. And we're gonna preview those next.